Hey, this is Miss Becky, and I'm coming to you from the absolutely oldest part of the library. I'm in the basement, and the basement, you can see, has stone walls, and parts of the walls are just sort of dug out from the earth, so you have the natural stone. Now the stones are very old, but the walls made of the stones date back to 1906. The library was built in 1906 here, and then there was a fire, and it was rebuilt again in 1907. And when I'm down here in the basement, I look around, and I look at these stones, especially the dug out parts, and I look at the floorboards and the joist. And I think this is really old. The stones, thousands of years old, most likely, and or millions maybe. But the floors and the wood that they're made out of would be the floorboards themselves are over 100 years as boards, but before that they were trees. So that's probably a couple hundred years ago. And Kentucky is unique that a couple hundred years ago, it was the birthplace of Abraham Lincoln. Illinois' license plates say Land of Lincoln, and he did live there as an older person, and that is where he's buried. But where he was born is here in Kentucky. And I'm going to show you some pictures from when I visited his birthplace, and also pictures from his boyhood home. And we're going to read a story about how his friend Austin saved his life when he was a little boy here on the western edge of central Kentucky. So I hope that you enjoy it, and welcome to our connection to the past.
It was a clear and bright September day. There was a chill in the air.
This is the cabin at McConnell Springs, which is where Lexington was founded. And it is somewhat like the cabin the Lincolns built when they lived in Indiana, which was when they first moved to Indiana, which was a very rustic cabin. This one, as you can see, has chinks in between the logs for air circulation. And it's probably about 8 feet by 12 feet. So, it's not very big. About maybe 96 square feet. And then there's a millstone. And on this site in Lexington, the first settlers came here and started the city. Abraham Lincoln visited here on his way to visit the Todds. And we're going to shortly see where Mary Todd lived. This is the Mary Todd Lincoln house. And it is here on Main Street in Lexington. And Mary Todd, the wife of President Abraham Lincoln, grew up here. And President Lincoln himself visited here with Mary Todd after they were married. Hi, I have moved up to the community room, and it's the newest room in the library for now. And several years ago we had a Lincoln reenactor here, Now, he played Lincoln as a grown-up, and I have not seen a Lincoln reenactor as a child, but possibly some child could play Abraham Lincoln as a boy, and there are a number of stories that would support you in doing that. Here are two of them. One of them is called Honey, the dog who saved Abe Lincoln, and Abe Lincoln Crosses a Creek. This one is by Sherry Swanson, and this one is by Deborah Hopkinson. This one's brand new. We just got this a couple months ago. This one I knew and have read for several years, and when I went to Lincoln's boyhood home, I was thinking about this book because the pictures that you've seen of Austin Gollaher's cabin and Knob Creek are very important in this story. Deborah Hopkinson wrote the words, and the pictures are done by John Hendricks, and this book was published by Schwartz. Abe Lincoln Crosses a Creek. Kentucky, 1816. Now here's an old tale of two boys who got themselves into more trouble than bear cubs in a candy store. I like it so well, I've asked my friend John to help by drawing some pictures. All stories have a time and a place, and this one's no different. It happened on the other side of yesterday before computers or cars in the year 1816. This green Kentucky valley is our place. Don't you feel like sticking your toes in that rushing water? That's Knob Creek. Life was hard for many folks then, especially those in slavery. And in just a few years, all the cares of America would fall on the shoulders of one tall, thin man. But in 1816, he's only 7. And here he is, fetching wood for his mother. All spring, he's been helping his father plant corn and pumpkins. Look, now he's stopping to watch a wagon rumble by. I dare say you've guessed his name. Abraham Lincoln. There's another boy here, too, sitting on that rock, with not waiting for Abe. That's Benjamin Austin Gollaher. Austin for short. Now, I can just hear you grumbling. Who? That feller isn't in my history book. What do I care? Well, Austin is Abe's first friend. He's 3 years older and proud of Abe as a big brother. Abe's legs were long, his arms were long, why even his ears were long, Austin would say later. And when it came to being smart, whew, he was way yonder ahead of me. All right, that's all we need to begin. A time, a place, and our characters. 2 boys named Austin and Abe. Now, where were we? Oh, I know. Austin just waved at his friend, remember? Hello there, Austin. Abe calls out, yesterday I saw some partridges over by Knob Creek. Let's go find them. Oh, don't you go near that creek, warns Abe's Mama Nancy. It's been raining something fierce and the water's high. We won't, ma'am, Austin and Abe chime in together. Then they scurry directly there, wearing nothing but their long homespun shirts. Here's Knob Creek, its waters rushing high through the limestone rock into deep, dark pool. I'd be scared to cross it, wouldn't you? But Abe points to the other side of the creek. Let's go, Austin. That's where I saw the partridges. Abe's only thinking about birds, not about the raging water before him. After all, he's just 7. Not a great leader yet, with a Union to save. Why, he's barely even learned his letters. I don't know, Abe. The water's darn high, Austin frowns, and we can't swim. We can get across that log easy, says Abe, with a plucky grin. I dare you. All right, replies Austin, gulping hard. Then putting one foot in front of the other, he tiptoes across. Careful there! And then I made it! Let's all clap for Austin. Woo! Yeah! Austin turns back to look for his friend. Uh-oh. I can sense trouble coming, can't you? Abe takes a big breath and begins. His feet are slippery. The log is slippery. He inches across. Slowly, slowly. Here comes the bit that's a mite scary. The part where if this were a movie, the music would get all rumbly and you might cover your eyes. Abe looks down at the water, swirling and spinning. Suddenly he's dizzy. Alas, alack, oh dear! He's head over heels and then splash! Hold on 1 minute. I want to be sure we get this right because maybe it didn't happen like that. I mean, would Abe and Austin really have walked across over that log with the whirlpool? They weren't that foolish, were they? No, I'm almost sure those boys would have crawled. So let's try it again. Now then, Austin stoops down, puts both hands on the log. He holds on tight. Bit by bit, he pulls himself across to the other side. How about we give him some encouragement? Yee-haw! Come on, a little louder. Whoop, whoop! Hooray! Austin is safe. Your turn, Abe. Austin says, squishing his toes in the mud. Uh-oh, I'm afraid this isn't much better. Look, Abe's in trouble from the start. His stomach feels queasy. His head's all a whir. He gets halfway and he's stuck. Don't look up, nor down, nor sideways, Austin hollers. Can Abe even hear Austin above all that racket? John, could you please stop painting that noisy water? Just look right at me and hold on tight, Austin yells louder. But Abe can't help looking down. He loses his grip and then, alas, alack, oh dear, splash. Wait, where's Austin? Now, John, don't let him go wander off to chase a partridge. Not now, the most important moment of his life. But if you look carefully, you can see Austin's still right there. Oh, phew, there he is. He must have been there all along because he was Austin, Abe's first friend, loyal and true until the day he died. What's that you're saying? Abe's still in the water while I'm rambling on? His head just went under again? Wait, I'm trying to remember what happens next. I'm pretty sure Austin doesn't say, don't worry, Abe, I'll save you because I know you're on Earth for a great purpose. And in respect, Abe sputters back, stop your yapping and help. No, I think Abe just jumps in action. And he pulls Abe out by his shirt tail. Or maybe he uses a sycamore branch. Or a fishing pole. We'll just let John decide which sketch to paint. For that's the thing about history. If you weren't there, you can't know for sure. Abe's on land at last, but he looks almost dead. Austin pounds him until so much water pours out of his mouth, it's about makes a lake. For a long time, Abe is still as Austin's heart. At last, Abe coughs, opens one eye, and smiles up at his friend. What a relief! I thought you were a goner, Austin says. I'm mighty grateful, Abe whispers, his throat raw from swallowing half the creek. Better not tell anyone, Austin says, or we'll get a whipping. I won't, but I'll never forget it, Abe promises, not as long as I live. And then they stretch out on the rocks and bake in the sun until they're dry. Now we could end our tale here, two happy friends in the sunshine long ago, but I expect you want to know what happens next. Well, not long after that, the Lincolns moved to Indiana. And in time, Abe goes on to the White House. Whoa, hold on a minute. I'm afraid you've got it wrong. Austin wasn't there at his side. Put him back by Knob Creek, where he belongs, raising a family and riding a mule through the woods. Telling stories of his first great friend till he dies at the ripe old age of 92, at long last resting under a gravestone that reads, Lincoln's Playmate. For the truth is, Abe and Austin never do meet again. But like he promised, Abe doesn't forget Austin. And one dark day in the midst of the Civil War, or so the story goes, Abe will be heard to say he'd rather see Austin Gollaher again than any other living man. And I'd like to think that's true, wouldn't you? Now we're coming to the last page. About all that's left is to remind you of the moral of our story. Listen to your mother and don't go playing in any swollen creeks. What? Oh, you don't think that's really the point? A mite weak perhaps, like Abe, a bit thin? Then how about this? Remember Austin Gollaher, because what we do matters, even if we don't end up in the history books. Yes, let's remember Austin Gollaher, who one day, long ago, when no one else was there to see, saved Abraham Lincoln's life. And without Abraham Lincoln, where would we be? But that's the story for another day, because ours at last is done. So this spring, my husband and I went to Abraham Lincoln's birthplace, Sinking Spring Farm, and then we drove over to his boyhood home in Knob Creek, and so I put some pictures up of that, and I was pretty amazed to see Austin Gollaher's cabin and also see the spring, which was there when Lincoln was born and is still there today. And they don't take a really long time to get to from Versailles, so if you should want to go over there, you could go see them too. So I hope that you realize that you're important, that being born in Kentucky is not a detriment. It can be a great thing. And who knows, just by being a good friend, the difference you can make in this world. So I hope you have a good day, and thanks for listening. Bye.